All right, so what is the process of building your data system inventory? How do you want to get started in it? So here's sort of this 8-step process. Now, I borrowed some of this from some things I found online. There's a good article on BI Network. I'm going to reference that later if you're not familiar with that website at B-EYE Network about this. And they had a 3-step process. I have expanded out to sort of more complexity. But what you kind of want to do in this case is that, define the initial scope and business requirements for the inventory. So I just listed a whole bunch of benefits. Like, you can turn those things around and say, what are we trying to accomplish with this? Are we looking at security and all this? And that'll help you to determine what you're going to put in it. After that, determine who the stakeholders, who are you involving? Or is this just within one department? Is it with the whole institution? Does it go beyond that? How wide are you going to cast the net to find these systems? Once you've done that, you can develop the inventory design and framework. So you can decide what it is that you're going to capture in this inventory. This should be driven by the scope and business requirements for this. If you really only are focusing on security, then you don't have to deal with you don't have a bunch of other stuff, or if you're really only focused on solving reporting problems, you might not need to worry about security and PII and things like that. So the next step after you sort of design that out, this is probably one of the biggest steps, but the 4th is determine where and how you will store and maintain and access this information. So where is this going to live? So we're going to talk about this later. So there's a number of options that we'll go through. I will tell you that the grand consensus for how to store all this information, if you go on the internet and search, is a spreadsheet. And that actually is a grand consensus on how to do most things in this world if you go on the internet and search. But so there's a lot of examples of data system inventories built on spreadsheets. We're going to talk about where that breaks down, but I definitely think it's a great place to start. That's your step 1 process if you want to build it in a spreadsheet. If you want to do step 2, put it in Google Docs where people can access it. All right, there you go. Once you've determined that, you've got all the information, you've got it sort of set up, now you need to solicit input from those same stakeholders and populate that data inventory. All right, and then yay, you're done. No, you're not done. You're not done, actually. Now you need to have a process for maintaining and governing that data inventory. So how do you sort of prove that it's right and check it and validate it? And how do you make sure that it's up to date? And if there's new systems or those systems go away, or if the systems change or the ownership change or whatever, what's the process for that? So you have to come up with some sort of process. And then lastly, which is the most important thing, in some reason, or why would we be doing this, is to share this information. So you've got this inventory, you put it together. You've got a plan to keep it up to date and make sure it's accurate. Now you want to give it back to the world so that they can get all those benefits out of it. So how are you going to do that? You can do that with a spreadsheet, or are you going to do that with the Google Doc, or are you going to do that with other tools? So